So for a long time, Hunter have owned the battery operated valve market in Australia and possibly in the world. And I know Toro had a crack at it and they brought out a junior DC and they brought out another one and it never really kind of took hold. But Rain Bird have just brought out this WPX battery operated controller, which is what some people in the market are calling the node killer. It's really early days. We've only sold a few because the market's probably not aware, so I just wanted to make a video explaining what comes with the WPX battery operated controller and then any differences that there is between this and the node. When you open up the box, you've got the control, so the head unit, so that's the brains of the operation. And then it's wired up to a coil, so that's a DC coil. So in a video we made recently, talked about the red and black cables being relevant. So it's a direct current. So with alternating current, it goes up and down the wire, whereas this is direct. So the polarity is important. With this one, it's pretty simple because it's straight in. You don't have to do any wiring. So a few differences that come to mind straight away. The valve that it comes with is a DV valve. So that's the solenoid valve. This unit altogether has a 3-year warranty. Most of Rain Bird stuff has a 3-year warranty, a 3-year trade warranty, but it's a trade product, so most of the people buying it are in the trade. The coil is a lot larger than a Hunter coil, and Rain Bird have designed this so that there's less chance of it getting, failing from a blockage. So there's more surface area and there's a filter there. The valve is a reverse flow, which they say means that it'll fail closed rather than wasting water. So if something goes wrong, it'll drop. I don't think that's always the case. I was speaking to Matt before and he said that that sometimes if these fail, and it's rare, that they'll fail open, but the reverse flow, the water goes through a valve in a different direction. It's a flow control solenoid valve, so that there is the flow control. That's a bleed screw, and then obviously that and that joined together. So these come separate in a box. You screw the coil onto the valve. They're a nice big chunky thread as well. Like a lot of the other valves, like the Toro or the Rickdell and the PGV valves have got quite small threads, and there's nothing wrong with it. They screw in. I think if you hit this with something, you're less likely to break it. So that's ready to go. Then that sits on top of that, and that'll go in the ground. So that's it as it sits. Then you can put this on there to protect that, obviously. So these are waterproof. They run on a 9-volt battery or 2 9-volt batteries. Let's have a quick look, which go in here. So the same as the node, they've got 2 9-volt batteries. They only need 1 9-volt battery to operate. The reason they have 2 is for longevity, so that you only have, is for longevity. You'll be able to then only replace your batteries less often. A lot of people will ask how long a battery lasts on a battery operated valve. It depends on how often it's being used. So if it's only coming on once a week, you're going to get 2 or 3 years. If it's coming on 2 or 3 times a day, you might get 6 to 12 months. But you obviously need to check that like you would with any other thing. Smoke alarms, maybe check your battery operated valves when you're checking your smoke alarm batteries. The Node recently changed their mounting plate for their head unit onto the valve, and a lot of guys that are installing them either from a tap or on the wall are having trouble with them falling out. These guys, if you wall mounted this, it's got screws on the back, so you can actually just screw that onto the wall, and then you can have, some people will have these coming off a garden tap and have that on the wall, so you can program it on the wall, and obviously just cover it up. Matt was saying before they've got a wall mount plate, but I don't reckon that's the case because it looks ready to rock and roll. So that's that. These yellow wires are for a sensor, so you can cut that and put a rain sensor in there and wire them up. The Node has that as well, I think. No, they do. And that's pretty much it. So they're pretty simple. They're a battery operated valve. You'll be using them in a situation, say if you're a council and you've got a roundabout where you've got water but no power and you want to be able to have an automatic system, you'd use this. Residentially, if you've put in the paving and they haven't run cable, then you could put in this. Commercially, they'll use a Node or a WPX battery operated style valve if you've got a verge, and so the contractor's been left responsible to keep the lawn alive until handover, but they're not going to irrigate it like long term. They'll put battery operated valves in and then they'll rip them out at the end of their period. Now Rain Bird obviously coming into a market where they don't have any market share, were obviously aware that they were going to have to make sure that they were competitive. So these are a lot cheaper than the Hunter Node. It'd be interesting to see if Hunter actually react to that and drop their price. We're Rain Bird Select Dealer in South Australia. So Rain Bird have given us a great deal on these, which we're passing on to our clients. I'm going to put them on special for the rest of February, and it might go into March depending on how the market adopts them. But we've got stock here, so if anyone wants to come and have a look at them, they're here. And well, I guess the market will decide whether or not the Rain Bird WPX battery operated controller is a node killer or not. They're available as a single station, but you can also get them in multiple valve setups similar to the node, and you then just have to buy the valve with the DC coil. Batteries not included.